Well, now step forward 20 years. Uh, 20 years later, we take for granted that handheld devices are the future of computation. And these handheld devices run on a microprocessor. Most of them, billions of them today, run on a microprocessor that happens to be the same microprocessor that was developed for the Newton, called the ARM. And the lessons that I learned from this is that when you talk about the future, it's not that hard to figure out where the future is going. What's really difficult is figuring out when it's going to happen and who's going to do it and what things have to be good enough commercially for the first products to be successful. And because I was not a trained engineer, I didn't have the perspective to understand that the things that we were talking about with Newton were far too in the future to be something that people could accept as this is the directions that the world was going to go with high technology. I thought we were maybe a few years away from being able to have products like Newton to be able to be successful in the marketplace. And I didn't realize it was probably going to be 15 years before you could seriously look at products like this becoming ubiquitous. I didn't realize how challenging it was going to be to handle wireless technologies, because in the days that Newton was launched, it was still in the days of analog electronics, not digital electronics. We didn't have the World Wide Web. We didn't have digital cell phones. And so there were things that had to happen that were beyond the capability of one company like Apple to be able to define a whole new industry, as Apple later did very successfully when Steve Jobs launched the iPhone and later the iPad. That there are things that have to happen, that have to be ready before one company can come out and do a major innovation. So big mistakes made in the actual product itself, the Newton, but in terms of being prescient of where the industry is going, there were some extraordinary talented people who were working on Newton. These people went on to have major roles in defining the success of mobile handheld products over the following 20 years. And so Newton never lacked for talent. It never lacked for inspiration as to what was possible. We were just unrealistic in terms of what you could expect reality to actually be able to deliver. So the message there for those working on transformational moments that involve risky technology is that the technology may be the right technology, it just may not be the right time in which it can be commercialized. Having said that, I still am a huge believer in disruptive technologies. I'm willing to still take risks as a mentor in companies that are trying to do disruptive things. And you'll hear about a few of those in this series later on.